Hi students, my name is Hitesh Narashet. I am from Manavara. Welcome you to the MPE EDU channel. So last class we discussed about a topic from 10th standard, that is real numbers. In real numbers we already discussed about Euclid's division lemma, uses of Euclid's division lemma, applications of Euclid's division lemma and problems on Euclid's division lemma. So let us we go ahead to the next topic, that is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So next topic is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So there is a term fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental means very basic term, that fundamental quantities, fundamental units. So likewise it's a fundamental theorem. Theorem means, so you already learned that Pythagoras theorem. So there is an expression, we are using that expression while solving some of the triangles problems. So arithmetic is one of the branches of mathematics, likewise algebra, geometry. So there is an arithmetic. In arithmetic we are keep on using numbers and number systems, and in algebra we are keep on using constants and variables and some of the identities also. So in geometry we are go through with the lines and angles, some of the polygons, triangles, circles. We are keep on doing that. So like that. So likewise algebra and geometry, there is also arithmetic. So I hope you understood this term, fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The fundamental theorem of arithmetic states that every composite number can be expressed as product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the factorization occurs. So that is statement. First we can go through with the statement. Every composite number can be expressed in the product of primes. Every composite number can be expressed in the form of product of primes, product of primes, and this factorization is unique. And this factorization is unique apart from the order in which prime factors occurs. It's a statement of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We are keep on using numbers here. So every composite number means the fact we have to factorize out in a several steps like that. So every composite number can be expressed in product of primes. It means we are also know about prime numbers. Prime numbers means, so those are the number which can divisible by 1, which only divisible by 1 and itself. So which can't be divisible by other numbers. 1 and itself we can divide these prime numbers. We can express in the form of product of primes. So and this factorization is always unique. So we have to factorize out from the prime numbers. This factorization is always unique apart from the order in which the prime factor occurs. The order we can change, but the factorization doesn't change. The product of primes doesn't change. Those prime numbers cannot be changed by any operations. So let us check by taking one of the examples. So for example, I will take 260. So 260 can be factorized. We can factorize 260 from the prime numbers. 260 can be factorized from 2, 5 and 13. So from whatever can we start, but we have to start from 2 only. So we have to start from the least prime number, that is 2 here. So 2 130 and 6. So 2 into 130 is equal to 260. Further we can factorize from the 2 only, because 0 is there. So 0 can, the term end with 0, that means we can be divisible by 2 and 5. So here we got 65. So 65 can be divisible by only by 5. 3. So 13 is also a prime factor. So 13 into 1. So these are the prime factors. That means 260 is a composite number. It can be expressed in the form of product of these primes is equal to, so we can represent it in the form of 2 into 2 into 5 into 13. We can multiply this term. We always got this number. So every composite number can be expressed as a product of prime numbers, and this factorization is always unique apart from the order in which the prime factor occurs, because if I start factorization from 13, so 13 can be written here. So we can change this order, but the factorization, the prime factor occurs here, it's always same. So likewise, Euclid's division lemma is useful to find HCF of two numbers and to find the division. That means that statement can be useful to prove another statement. Likewise, fundamental theorem is also having some of the uses. That is, so to find the LCM and HCF of two numbers. What are the uses of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic? To find both LCM and HCF of two or three numbers, whatever it may be. So HCF of numbers, whether it may be 2, whether it may be 3, so whatever it may be. So we can find the LCM and HCF of two numbers. So let us discuss these uses by taking some examples. So for this I will take 24 and 36. 24, 36. So you can factorize this. And 36. So 24 can be factorized by using 2 into 12, 2 into 6, 2 into 3, 3 into 1. So we got the factorization and we got the product of primes. So then here also we can start from 2 into 18, 2 into 9, 3 into 3 and 3 into 1. So both these composite numbers can be expressed as a product of primes. So 24 is equal to, so we can write 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 here. Then again 36 can be written as a product of primes, that is 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. So it can be write in an exponent form. So it is 2 raised to 3 into 3 raised to 1. Again, it is also can be write in the form of exponent form, 2 square into 3 square. So let us calculate one by one. First we have to find HCF and then we have to find LCM. HCF of 24, 36. So we already learned that what is HCF. HCF is the highest common factor here. So we have to find out the common factor. After finding the common factor, we have to multiply that common factors. There is 3 is a common factor here, and then 2 is also a common factor here, and again here 2 is also a common factor. So we can write, so from this we can take 2 as a common factor and 2 as a common factor. From this 3 can be a common factor. So the after multiplying this we got 12. So that means HCF of 24 and 36 is 12. So from this we can find HCF of 24 and 36. So we can take LCM also. 24, 36. So while taking LCM, we have to take the highest powers of 2 and 3. There, what are the prime factors are here. So always we can take what are the highest powers of primes, we can multiply here. So here 2 raised to 3 is the highest power of 2. So 3 raised to 2 is also highest power of 3. Whether it is a 5 is there? No, there is no 5 here. So that means, so this is the LCM of these two numbers. Just we have to multiply. 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8. 3 square is 9 is equal to 72. So we got LCM of these two numbers. So whether it is right or wrong we have to check, because so it is the very first method we have to learn in this class. So that means we have to check by verification. So for verification we have to take one formula, that is product of two numbers. Product of two numbers is equal to HCF into LCM. Just consider we don't know LCM. We don't know LCM. We have to find LCM here. So we have the product of two numbers. We have two numbers 24 and 36. We have to multiply that. We know HCF by using English division number we have to find. So HCF we can write here, and we don't know LCM. So LCM is equal to 24 into 36 divided by 12. 12 into 1, 12 into 2 is equal to 36 into 2 means 72. That means LCM is equal to 72. So we got LCM as 72. That means we have verified that LCM we got from the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, or we got from the factorization. So that is correct. So that means fundamental theorem states that every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes, and this factorization is always unique apart from the order in which the factorization occurs or the prime factors occurs. So let us move on to the next problem. So some of the problems are regarding fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We have to prove that. So the next problem is, consider a number 4 raised to n where n is any natural number. Check whether there is any value of n. The value of 4 raised to n ends with digit 0 or not. We are just checking here. So we have to check whether there are a possibility of number 4 raised to n. So after we calculating 4 raised to n, whether there is a chance of a number which ends with the digit 0 or not. So we have to check that one. So consider a number 4 raised to n where n is any natural number. That means n belongs to n. This symbol is represented as belongs to. That means where n is any natural number. Check whether there is any value of n So n for which the value of 4 raised to n ends with digit 0 or not. We have to check for that. So when the number ends with digit 0, we have to take the factorization of factors of 2 and 5. So that must be divisible by 5 also. That means when we take the factorization of 4 raised to n, there must be an existence of 5 and 2 are there. So that means we have to check whether there is 5 and 2 are there or not. So we know that when the term ends with 0, it must be divisible by 5. That we know that when the value ends with 0, it must be divisible by 5. Okay, so let us check whether there is a prime factors of 4 raised to n is 5 is there or not. So 4 raised to n is equal to, we can write 4 raised to n in the form of 2 square whole raised to n is equal to 2 raised to 2n. Yes, that means here only 2 is there. When we take the factors of 4 raised to n, whether n is any natural number, there is only a possibility of 2 is there. There is no any 5 here. That means there are no any factor of 5, means there is no any term, there is no any value of n for which 4 raised to n must be divisible by 4 raised to n is ends with the digit 0. Therefore, here there is no any value or no any prime factors of 4 raised to n as 5. So therefore there is no any value of n for which 4 raised to n ends with digit 0. So this can be proved by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, because we have to take the factorization here. So likewise we can take any other problems. So I will take here just 6 raised to n. So consider a number 6 raised to n where n is any natural number. Check whether there is any value of n for which the value of 6 raised to n ends with 0 or not. So just consider 6 raised to n here. So 6 raised to n can be written in the form of factorization. That is, this can be write in a factorization form as 2 into 3 raised to n. That means here there are no factors like 5. So that means no any prime factors of 5 means there is no any chances of value n for which 6 raised to n ends with the digit 0. That means here there are no any prime factors of 6 raised to n as 5. So there is no any value of n for which 6 raised to n ends with digit 0. So likewise we have to check 10 raised to n also. So there is 2 into 5. That means there is existence of 5 there. So that means it's also a chance of end with digit 0. While we take 15 raised to n, 3 into 5 is there, but 3 into 5, that means there is no any chance, because 5 and 2 means 10. So there is the existence of digit 0 at the end. So I hope you understood this. So let us go ahead to the next problem. So the next problem is find the greatest 6-digit number which is divisible by 24, 15 and 36. So find the greatest 6-digit number which is divisible by 24, 15 and 36. So for this we have to take the LCM of 24, 15 and 36. After that we have to divide that 6-digit number with the LCM of these three numbers, and then we have to subtract the 6-digit number from the remainder. So let us check what is the greatest of 6-digit number. So we know that the greatest 6-digit number is greatest 6-digit number is equal to 99999. So what is this? 9,99,999. It's a 6-digit number. So we have to divide this number with the LCM of these three numbers, and then after that we got LCM of these three numbers, we have to divide this number from the LCM. Then we have to find the remainder. After that we have to subtract this number from the remainder. So let us do this problem. So 24 and 15 and 36. 24 you already done that, the possible prime factors, that is 2 into 3. So again 15 can be written as 3 into 5, and then 36 we already got the prime factors here, 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 here. So let us find out the factorization. So here we have to convert it in a exponent form. 2 raised to 3 into 3 raised to 1 is equal to 3 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 1. So again here 2 square into 3 square. So what is the LCM of 24, 15 and 36? So here we got, so 2 raised to 3 is the highest power of 2. So we can take 2 raised to 3, and 5 raised to 1 is there, and 3 square. What we get? 8 into 5 into 9. So that means what we get into 5 means 360. So then we got the LCM of three numbers 24, 15 and 36. So we have the 360. So then after that we have to divide that 6-digit number from the 360. So here we can take 9,99,999 divided by 360. So it can also be written in the form of Euclid's division lemma. So that is, I will write it as direct 360 into 2779 plus 279. So 279. So we got the remainder here. After that, after we got this expression, we have to subtract this number from this number. That means 9,99,999 minus 279 is equal to 720. So we got this number 9,99,720. So this is the greatest of 6-digit number, which is exactly divisible by 24, 15 and 36. So you can try this also in your home. So you can take any number. So you can take any digit numbers. We can try this as find the LCM. So find the LCM here. Firstly, we have to find the LCM here. Then we have to divide. Then after that we have to subtract from the remainder. So this is the method we have to take by solving this problem. So let us go ahead to the next set of problems. So the next problem is based on some of the chocolates. I think already all of you very passionate about chocolates, eating chocolates. So there are two set of chocolates is there. That means there are two set of boxes like a Dairy Milk and a Milky Bar. So in a single box of a Dairy Milk there are 24 chocolates, and in a single box of Milky Bar there are 15 number of chocolates. So we have to take the equal number of chocolates. But the shopkeeper refuses to open that box. We have to take in a box. But I want the equal number of chocolates. Equal number of all the chocolates. So that we have to take the boxes. So what are the possibilities that we have to take the equal number of chocolates? That means two types of chocolates having a pack of 24 and 15. If I need to buy equal number of chocolates, what is the least number of boxes in which I can buy? Yes. So there are two types of chocolates there. One is the Dairy Milk chocolate, and another one is a Milky Bar. So Dairy Milk box contains 24 chocolates and Milky Bar contains 15 chocolates. We have to take the equal number of chocolates, but the shopkeeper refuses. The common man is don't having mathematics, don't know what we can do. So we just open the boxes and take the counting. So likewise, but the mathematician didn't do that. So he can do as a find the LCM of these two numbers. We can take the box. So here we can take some number of boxes. For example, X here. So after take this, you can consider it as a y. So after this, the chocolates I purchase are the equal. So for this we can take the LCM of 24 and 15. So just take the LCM by the using of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. That is 24 can be factorized by 2 into 2 into 2 into 3. Again 15 can be written as 3 into 5. So after that we have to write it in an exponent form. 2 raised to 3 into 3 raised to 1. So again here 3 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 1 here. So we have to calculate LCM. LCM is equal to LCM of 24 comma 15 is equal to, so just take the highest power of each prime factor. So 2 raised to 3 is the highest power of 2 and 3 raised to 1 is there and 5 raised to 1 is equal to what we get. So 120. So 120 is the answer. So after I taken the sum of the boxes of these two chocolates, so I got 120 Dairy Milk chocolates and 120 Milky Bar chocolates. But I don't know what is the number of boxes I can take here for the Dairy Milk and what is the possible number of boxes I can take for the Milky Bar. So for this we can divide 120 from that number. That means while we calculating for Dairy Milk, we have to divide with 24. While we calculating for Milky Bar, we have to divide with 15. For the number of boxes for Dairy Milk is equal to 120 by 24. So what we get is equal to 5 boxes. We can take 5 Dairy Milk boxes. We got 120 number of Dairy Milk. So then the number of boxes for Milky Bar is equal to 120 divided by 15. That is 120 by 15 is equal to 8. So we have to purchase 8 number of boxes for Dairy Milk when we purchase 120 number of chocolates. So for this, so 5 boxes so Dairy Milk and we have to purchase 8 boxes of Milky Bar. So from the fundamental theorem of arithmetic we can solve some of the problems like this. So already we calculated some of the problems like HCM, calculating HCM and LCM, and while calculating the chances of value of n for 4:n, whether 4:n, 6:n or 10:n, and with 0 or not. And we have already calculated that find the greatest of 6-digit number, so which is divisible by 24, 15 and 36. You already learned about this type of problems. We have to take the equal number of chocolates when the pack contains some number of chocolates. So for this we understood that there is some of the uses of fundamental theorem of arithmetic in our daily life, and also we also know that the Euclid's division lemma also useful to some of our daily situations. So I hope you already understood these problems. So thank you and be safe and stay home, and thank you all and all.